Yes. Very good evening to all of you. Today I'm going to start with the next part of the endocrine system. Start with the thymus gland. If you remember last day, what we have done is we've already covered the hypothalamic hormones. We have talked about the pituitary gland. We have talked about thyroid gland, and today and also parathyroid gland. Today we need to start from the topic called thymus gland. So let us start with the topic. This topic, again to remind you, this topic is going to be very, very important for you. For NEET examination is going to be very, very important. Why? Because you can get not less than 4 questions from this chapter. Completely knowledge based. Fine. There's no tricky things, no conceptual one. Completely knowledge based. So you have to just study it, read many a times, and it is going to come to you. Let us start with the topic called the thymus gland. So when you talk about thymus gland, so what is the location of it? Thymus gland. Thymus gland. What the NCERT says. What the NCERT is going to say about it. Let's find out that. Thymus. So the thymus gland is a lobular structure located on the dorsal side of the heart and the aorta. So it is present on the dorsal side of the heart and the aorta. Lobular structure is important. It's a lobular structure on the dorsal side of the heart. Dorsal side of the heart. So normally we know that the heart is present at the ventral part of our body, and in the dorsal side of the heart there is that portion, back portion of the heart. What is present is the thymus gland. The thymus plays a major role in the development of the immune system. This gland secretes a peptide hormone called thymosin. So what is the hormone? The hormone secreted is thymosin. Thymosin plays a major role in the differentiation of T lymphocytes, which provide cell-mediated immunity. Now, when we talk about differentiation, we already know this term from the chapter plant growth and development. We have talked about differentiation, dedifferentiation, and redifferentiation. What is differentiation? When a cell, in order to play a different role, is having some changes in its body, in its cellular structure, to perform a different function. Fine? And that is what is called differentiation. So what happens? These T lymphocyte cells, they differentiate to give us the cell-mediated immunity, which is we call it as CMI. Which we call it as CMI. So just to begin with, yes, let me give you this idea now. Yes. So thymus gland, when we talk about thymus gland, it secretes thymosin hormone. Which helps in the differentiation of T lymphocytes. Now basically when we talk about lymphocytes are the cells of WBC. Tell me whether this is a granulocyte or a granulocyte. Lymphocytes are granulocyte cells. If you remember the term, never eat banana like monkeys. Never eat banana like monkeys. So never eat banana is granulocyte. Like monkeys is granulocytes. So what is this N? N stands for neutrophil. N stands for neutrophils. E stands for eosinophils. And B stands for basophils. So these 3 are what kind? Granulocyte kind. So when we talk about these 2, what is L? L for lymphocyte. L for lymphocytes. And what is M stands for? Monocytes. These 2 are granulocytes. So they don't have granules inside them, inside the cytoplasm. So this basic idea, we are already having this. We have completed this part called WBC. WBC we have already completed in the chapter circulatory system or body fluids and circulation. So lymphocytes are basically a type of WBC which are granulocytes. And lymphocytes' main function is to help in what? Immunity. It helps in making immunity. So when we talk about lymphocytes, basically lymphocyte cells are of two types. Lymphocyte cells are of two types. One is B lymphocytes, and the one is T lymphocytes. Who's going to tell me what is the meaning of the term B lymphocytes? B for? What does B stands for? Bursa equivalent. Bursa equivalent in mammals. In mammals. And B in birds is Bursa fabricus. Bursa fabricus in birds. So B lymphocytes basically it helps in what kind of immunity? Humoral immunity. It helps in humoral immunity. Now what is the meaning of the term humor? Humor means blood. Humor means blood. So they help in humoral immunity, but when we talk about T lymphocytes mainly they help in CMI, cell-mediated immunity. Cell-mediated immunity. Now, what is most important about T lymphocytes? T lymphocytes, we can classify them into four types mainly. One is helper T cell. The second one, memory T cell. The third one, suppressor, killer T cell. And the last one is suppressor T cell. Okay? Now, there are four different types of T lymphocytes. And mind you, this differentiation has been done by the hormone. Come on. Thymosin. So each one of them, they have got different role to play. Each one of them, they have got different functions to play in the body. What is the function of helper T cells? Helper T cells basically, in short, they help the proliferation of B lymphocytes. They help in proliferation of B lymphocyte cells. They help in the proliferation of B lymphocyte cells. That's why they are called helper T cells. Done? The next one is called memory T cell. What happens? If you once get chicken pox, you are never going to have it again. Tell me the reason. Because in chicken pox is caused by the virus varicella zoster. And if chicken pox once occurs to you, the memory T cells gets activated and they memorize the particular agent. And then they are going to, the next time when they're going to see it coming, they're going to activate the killer T cells. And the function of killer T cells is to kill the cell. Though in class 12 we are going to study in depth of it. NK cells, natural killer cells, we are going to talk about those. Now, killer T cells का काम क्या है? इसका काम है चून कर मारना. Cell-mediated immunity, fine. They have only one direction. उनका बंदूक किस तरफ रहता है? अगर इंडियन है तो उस तरफ, है ना? अच्छा, उस तरफ रहता है बंदूक. अब सप्रेसर टी सेल का फंक्शन क्या है? Its function is to suppress the activity of killer T cells. अगर killer T cells कभी बंदूक उस तरफ ना देकर अपने तरफ घुमा देता है तो वो ट्रिगर दबा के रखता है. So suppressor T cell उसको बोलता है बाबा ये बंदूक उस तरफ, इधर नहीं. Suppressor T cells अपने ही सेल्स को मारना स्टार्ट कर देंगे. And we have talked about Hashimoto disease, if you remember, due to hyposecretion of thyroid. One of the disease was Hashimoto disease. It came from the woman Hikaru Hashimoto of Japan. उसमें क्या था? What happened over there? The cells of the thyroid gland started killing the other cells. जो nearby cells है, considering them to be antigen, foreign body. क्यों? कौन काम करना बंद कर दिया? इसलिए suppressor T cells काम करना बंद कर दिया, and that's why the killer T cells वो अपने ही cells को मारना स्टार्ट कर दिया. So suppressor T cells के inactivity के कारण the killer T cells are going to start making what? Killing our own cells, and this is going to lead into autoimmune disease. It's going to lead into autoimmune disease. Clear यहाँ तक clear है? Autoimmune disease. And what is the best example of that? One of them is Hashimoto disease. The second one is rheumatoid arthritis. We have talked about that in locomotion and movement. And the third one is Crohn's disease. Crohn's, C-R-O-H-N-S, Crohn's disease. So this is about thyroid gland. This is about thyroid, sorry, T lymphocyte cells. This is about T lymphocyte cells. Okay. Let's see what our NCERT has got to say about it. Now, in addition, thymosin also promotes production of antibodies to provide humoral immunity. Now, how many types of antibody we have got? IG, GADME. How many types of antibody we have got? IG, GADME. कितने तरह के हैं? IG, GADME. What is IG stands for? IG stands for immunoglobulin. What? G-A-D-M-E. So there are 5 different types: IgG, then IgA, then IgD, IgM, and IgE. So out of these 5, which one is pentameric? IgM is pentameric. And in class 12, we are going to study that the structure of the antibody looks like this. The structure of antibody looks like this. Fine. And this is a Y-shaped structure. And IgM क्या है? Pentameric है. That means how many Y-shaped structure you can see? 5. Clear? This is pentameric structure. This is pentameric structure. This is IgM. So normally we know that the IgG can pass from mother's placenta to the fetus. IgA, one baby gets after taking birth, after parturition, the baby gets it from the mother's milk, IgA. What is the first mother's milk called? Yellow colored. What is the first mother's milk called? Colostrum. And this colostrum contains IgA. Fine. So these are the antibodies that we get. So यही antibody जब class 2 में पढ़ेंगे. So we are going to talk about artificial immunity, natural immunity. Fine. Active, passive immunity. We are going to talk about that. So in addition, the thymosin also promotes production of antibodies to provide humoral immunity. What is humoral immunity? Blood mediated, not cell mediated. So this immunity is present inside the blood. And basically, कौन सा cells इस पे काम करते हैं? B or T lymphocytes. B lymphocytes works in it. Fine. Thymus is degenerated in old individuals. सबसे important ये क्या है? ये किस तरह का metamorphosis दिखाते हैं? Normally we call it retrogressive. What is the meaning of retrogressive? With age, the thymus gland size is going to get reduced. तो जब आप छोटे थे तो thymus gland का size बड़ा था. The more you are going to grow in age, वो thymus gland is going to get degenerated in old individuals, resulting in a decreased production of thymosin. As a result, the immune response of old persons becomes weak. This is the reason why the immune response of the old persons becomes weak. Is this clear? Any issues? Next is what? Next is adrenal gland. Now before we get into the adrenal gland, let's get this idea. When we talk about adrenal gland. So adrenal gland, the position of that is, there are 2 kidneys and they are present at the tip of both the kidneys. So it's present over here. Adrenal gland are present over here at the tip of both the kidneys. So if this adrenal gland is having 2 portions, one is cortex, so outer cortex, and inner medulla. So if this is the adrenal gland, so adrenal gland is having medulla inside and cortex outside. Medulla inside and cortex outside. Okay, so this is adrenal gland. So we got the position of it. Now when we talk about the cortex region, the cortex is having 3 main portions. The first one is called zona glomerulosa. And what is the hormone which is being secreted from here, from zona glomerulosa? The type of hormone is mineralocorticoid. क्या नाम है? Mineralocorticoids. The type of hormone is mineralocorticoids. And the example of mineralocorticoid is aldosterone. Is aldosterone. The second type, the second layer is called zona fasciculata. Zona fasciculata. And what kind of hormones is being secreted from here? The hormones are glucocorticoids. Glucocorticoids. And the example of that is cortisol, which is also called as stress hormone. Cortisol is also called as stress hormone. It's not an emergency hormone. And cortisone. This is the second one. The third one is zona reticularis. Zona reticularis. And the type of hormone it secretes is sex corticoids. Fine. And the example of the sex corticoids can be estrogen, progesterone, or epiandrostenedione. It's a sex corticoid. Androstenedione. Is the example of sex corticoids. Though this kind of information is not there in our book, NCERT, let's see what NCERT has got to say about it. Okay? Now, adrenal gland. Our body has one pair of, our body has one pair of adrenal gland, one at the anterior part of each kidney. Suprarenal. Why suprarenal? It's present at the tip of the kidney. Suprarenal glands. The gland is composed of two types of tissues. The centrally located tissue is called adrenal medulla, and outside this lies the adrenal cortex. Outside is adrenal cortex. Okay. Adrenal medulla. So when we talk about adrenal medulla, the adrenal medulla, okay, so should we start from here? Let us first clear it out. Adrenal medulla के बारे में थोड़ा पहले जान लेते हैं. Let us talk about it. Adrenal medulla. So when we talk about adrenal medulla, so this adrenal medulla is having two kinds of hormones. One is adrenaline or epinephrine. Another one is noradrenaline or norepinephrine or norepinephrine. Okay, so when we talk about adrenaline hormone, we will talk about two things. First, there are 3 F's and 4 F's. 3 F's. What are 3 F's? Fight, flight, and fright. Fight, flight, and fright. So normally it is called as stress hormone. We call this as not stress hormone, we call this as an emergency hormone. So this adrenaline, we call it as emergency hormone. Emergency hormone. Adrenaline is called as emergency hormone. Now, they help in fight, flight, and fright. So you cannot fight without having adrenaline rush. Adrenaline rush is going to make your heart rate, it's going to increase your heart rate, it's going to increase the blood flow in all your muscles, all your body parts. तो किसी के मारने के लिए आपको क्या करना है? आपके पास एड्रेनलिन रश होना चाहिए, अदरवाइज आपको मार खाने से खुद जो मार खाओगे ना खूब बहुत लगेगा. Fine. So adrenaline rush is required. तो इसलिए this is what is fight mode or flight mode or fright. So 3Fs is very important: fight, flight, and fright. 4S का काम क्या है? 4S is what? The first S is it is the source of energy. It is the source of energy. Number 1, First S हो गया source of energy. The second source, the second S is it's salt retaining. It's salt retaining. It's going to retain the salt inside your body, and that's why you're never going to become weak. So you're going to feel very energetic. Next is what? Sugar metabolism. So it's going to help in sugar metabolism, and that is why you're going to have huge amount of energy. Fine? The next one is yes. Okay, sugar metabolism, source of energy, salt retaining, sugar metabolism, and then last S1 is sexual desire. Sexual desire. There are 4 S, which says everything about adrenaline. So what is the difference between adrenaline and noradrenaline? Noradrenaline normally works in excited state, and it normally works in the normal state. In the normal state, that's it. There's all a difference. Clear? So let's get into this. Is about adrenal medulla. So adrenal medulla, it secretes adrenaline or noradrenaline. Adrenaline, they are called as emergency hormone. Yes. Okay, so I think this is okay with you. Adrenal medulla is okay with you. So this is adrenaline, noradrenaline. So we have talked about 3S and 4S. 4S is very, very important. 3S you'll be getting in any of the book. 4S is very, very important. Source of energy, salt retaining, sugar metabolism, and sexual desire. And sexual desire. Okay. Okay, let's get into the bookish thing. So what adrenal medulla? So they are talking about adrenal medulla. So what they are talking about this? The adrenal medulla secretes 2 hormones called adrenaline or epinephrine, and noradrenaline or norepinephrine. These are commonly called as catecholamines. These 2 together are called catecholamines. Very, very important. Adrenaline and noradrenaline are rapidly secreted in response to stress of any kind and during emergency situations, and also called as emergency hormones or hormones of fight or flight or fright. These hormones increase alertness, pupillary dilation, piloerection. What is the meaning of piloerection? The erection of your hairs. Piloerection, raising of hairs, sweating. Clear? Both the hormones increase the heartbeat and the strength of heart contraction and the rate of respiration. 2013 का question है, देख लो. So both the hormones increases the heartbeat and the strength of heart, a contraction and the rate of respiration. It's a very, very important one. Catecholamines also stimulates the breakdown of glycogen. So what are catecholamines? They are the agents. They are the agents which can stimulate the breakdown of glycogen. So glycogen को तोड़ने से क्या मिलेगा? Energy मिलेगा, and that's why they are called sugar metabolism. Remember, we have talked about that. They help in sugar metabolism, resulting in an increased concentration of glucose. Resulting in increased concentration of glucose. So glycogen तोड़ने से क्या मिलेगा? Glucose मिलेगा in the blood. In addition, they also stimulate the breakdown of lipids and proteins. They also helps in breakdown of lipids and proteins. So it's very, very important that you get huge amount of energy. That's why it is also a source of energy. Fine? S for source of energy. So catecholamines, they help in the breakdown of glycogen, they help in the breakdown of lipid and also protein. So what are catecholamines? They are the agents which can help in the metabolism of protein, lipid and fats. Epinephrine, that is adrenaline, has both endocrine and neural roles. है ना? Last day we talked about दरवाजा खोलने के बाद देखा कोबरा खड़ा है. So for you it's going to be, there will be a change. But एक 6 साल के बच्चे के लिए, 6 महीने के बच्चे के लिए क्या होगा? कोबरा has got no idea, so no endocrine system. Endocrine system मतलब cerebrum में कोई information नहीं है, so there won't be any change. Clear? Now epinephrine, norepinephrine has both endocrine as well as neural roles. It's very important. That's all about, I think, medulla. Let's get into the adrenal cortex. Adrenal cortex, according to NCERT, it says can be divided into 3 layers called zona रेडिकुलरिस inner layer, सबसे अंदर, zona fasciculata middle layer, and zona glomerulosa outer layer. The adrenal cortex secretes many hormones commonly called as corticoids. क्या नाम है? Corticoids. Corticoids कौन रिलीज करते हैं? Zona fasciculata. Zona fasciculata. Corticoids which regulate the balance of water and electrolytes in our body are called mineral corticoids. क्या नाम है? जो मिनरल, जो सोडियम एंड पोटाशियम बैलेंस मेंटेन करते हैं, उसका नाम क्या है? मिनरल कॉर्टिकॉइड. एग्जांपल क्या है? एल्डोस्टेरॉन. एग्जांपल क्या है? एल्डोस्टेरॉन. सो वी कॉल देम एज मिनरल कॉर्टिकॉइड्स. Aldosterone is the main mineral corticoid in our body. Aldosterone increases both sodium and water in blood. Sodium and water in the blood. Aldosterone acts mainly at the renal tubules and stimulates the reabsorption of sodium. देखो, it helps in the reabsorption of sodium and water and excretion of potassium and phosphate ion. So they maintain the sodium potassium balance in the body. So they help in water, reabsorption of sodium and water and excretion of potassium and phosphates. Potassium and phosphates. Clear बाबू? So कहाँ से लेते हैं ये? From the renal tubules. Where from they reabsorb them? From the renal tubules. Mind you one thing. Aldosterone का function we are going to also study in excretory system under the topic called RAS. So what is the full form of RAS? Renin, angiotensin, aldosterone system. Renin, angiotensin, aldosterone system, which helps in what? One of the function of kidney is to regulate blood pressure. Is the RAS system. Okay, is by RAS system. Thus, aldosterone helps in the maintenance of electrolytes, body fluids volume, and osmotic pressure. So, body का volume, blood volume भी maintain करता है कौन? Aldosterone and blood pressure, and thereby it helps in maintaining or regulating the blood pressure. Fine, because it can help in absorption of sodium and excretion of potassium. The corticoids which are involved in carbohydrates metabolism, क्या नाम होगा उसका? Glucocorticoid. क्या नाम होगा? Glucocorticoid. It is secreted from what? Which layer? The glucocorticoid? Cortex. No, cortex. Definitely. Cortex का कौन सा portion? कौन सा layer? No, the second layer. What is the second layer? Fasciculata. Fine. In our body, cortisol is the main glucocorticoid. क्या नाम है? Cortisol is the main glucocorticoid. Glucocorticoids stimulate gluconeogenesis. Now, what is the meaning of this? Genesis मतलब क्या है? Formation. Glucose. Neo means formation of glucose from a formation or metabolism of glucose from non-carbohydrate source. Metabolism of glucose from non-carbohydrate source is called gluconeogenesis. It is also called as neoglucogenesis. Lipolysis and proteolysis. What is the lipolysis means? Breakdown of fat. And proteolysis, breakdown of protein, and inhibits cellular uptake and utilization of amino acids. Inhibits cellular uptake and also utilization of amino acids. This is the function of what? Glucocorticoid. This is the function of glucocorticoid. See, it came in 2020 and 2023. Cortisol is also involved in maintaining the cardiovascular system. क्या काम है इसका? Cardiovascular system में it has got a great function. क्या? Cortisol. As well as in the kidney functions. में भी इसका रोल है. इसका cortisol का. So cortisol basically it's a type of what? It's a type of glucocorticoid and it has got role in lipolysis, proteolysis. Also, it helps in cardiovascular and also in the kidney system. Excess secretion of cortisol leads Cushing's syndrome. So hyper secretion of cortisol leads into Cushing's syndrome, characterized by moon phase and hyperglycemia. What is hyperglycemia? More amount of glucose inside emia. Emia means what? Blood. Emia means blood. So when there is a more amount of glucose in the blood, we call it hyperglycemia. सो कॉर्टिजोल का लेवल बढ़ गया, सो क्या होगा, कुशिंग सिंड्रोम होगा। क्या होगा, कॉर्टिजोल, सी फॉर कुशिंग सिंड्रोम। ऊपर या नीचे, ऊपर, हाइपर सिक्रीशन। ओके, कैरेक्टराइज्ड बाय मून फेस। ऐसा मून फेस कौन से क्रोमोसोमल डिसऑर्डर से हमें होता है?
सिंड्रोम का मतलब क्या है? मतलब
ग्रुप ऑफ सिम्टम्स। In Down syndrome, we can get the same moon face. Down syndrome क्या है? It's a chromosomal disorder. It's a chromosomal disorder. We'll study in class 12. 21st trisomy. 21st chromosome में trisomy होने से that occurs, that helps in this mongoloid idiocy or Down syndrome. So hyperglycemia. Glucocorticoids, particularly cortisol, produces anti-inflammatory reactions and suppresses the immune response. It produces anti-inflammatory reactions. Cortisol is very important and suppresses the immune response. Immune response को suppress कर देगा। आपके लिए अच्छा है? Yes. अच्छा है? No. Okay. Hypersecretion से होगा ये। किससे होगा? Hypersecretion of what? Cortisol, and that is going to lead into Cushing's syndrome. Glucocorticoids, particularly cortisol, produces anti-inflammatory and suppresses the immune response. Small amounts of androgenic steroids. देखो यहाँ पे small amount of androgenic. What is androgenic? Andro means what? Study of male reproductive system is called andrology. Androgenic steroids also secreted by the adrenal cortex. Tell me, what is the androgenic one? Testosterone. From the adrenal cortex. Which part? Sex corticoid, which plays a role in the growth of axial hair, pubic hair and facial hair during puberty. बोलो समझ में आया क्या? कहाँ से रिलीज होगा ये? Which part? Radicularis. Very good. Zona radicularis, which is going to secrete sex corticoids. Which is going to secrete sex corticoids. यहाँ तक क्लियर है ना? So sex corticoids के एग्जाम्पल क्या है? Epiandrostenedione and androstenedione, and also androgenic steroids. Like they haven't mentioned, what is the androgenic steroids called? Testosterone. यहाँ तक क्लियर है? यहाँ तक क्लियर है? Very good. Now, underproduction of hormones by the adrenal cortex. Hyposecretion of adrenal cortex alters. क्या होगा? Carbohydrate metabolism खराब हो जाएगा, causing acute weakness. कार्बन मेटाबॉलिज्म कम होगा, acute weakness होगा, and fatigue, leading to a disease called Addison's disease. क्या नाम होगा? Addison's disease. So, if hypersecretion, Cushing's syndrome, then hyposecretion, Addison's disease. Addison's disease में क्या होगा? Fatigue होगा, leading to disease called Addison's disease. क्या होगा? Weakness होगा, and they are going to alter carbohydrate metabolism. Carbohydrate metabolism में problem होगा. That's all about adrenal cortex. So when we talk about the classification, adrenal gland, we can classify them into two: adrenal cortex and adrenal medulla. Adrenal cortex में outer zona granulosa, middle zona fasciculata, inner zona reticularis. And when we talk about medulla secretes catecholamines. Catecholamines are of two types: adrenaline or epinephrine, noradrenaline or non-epinephrine. Adrenaline we call it as emergency hormones or hormones of flight and fright. यहाँ तक clear है? Sure. Next is pancreas. So when we talk about pancreas, so pancreas is what kind of gland? Yes, Agnisha? It's a heterocrine gland. Very good. So it's a mixed gland. So it consists of some of the group of cells inside. Which secretes alpha, beta, gamma, delta. Alpha, beta, gamma, delta. What is common? Cells of islets of Langerhans. So alpha cells, beta cells same. So alpha cell secretes a hormone called glucagon. क्या नाम है? Very good. Tell me, what is the function of glucagon? क्या छुपा हुआ है इस टर्म पे? Glucose. So it helps in increase in glucose level in the blood or decrease in the glucose level in the blood? It helps in increase in the glucose level. बोलो increase in the glucose level मतलब glucose कहाँ पे stored रहता है? Glucose is stored in what form? Glycogen. So it breaks down glycogen or it makes glycogen? It breaks down glycogen. So what is the process called? It helps in glycogenolysis. Glycogenolysis. Lysis मतलब breakdown. And increases the blood glucose level. Increases the blood glucose level. यहाँ तक clear है? Very good. What is the function of beta cells of islet cell Langerhans? You already know it. It helps in the secretion of the hormone called insulin. This insulin you are also going to study in class 12. We are going to talk about in biotechnology. We are going to talk about. We take the help of bacteria to make what? Human insulin. We call it as humulin. And we are going to talk about a company called Eli Lilly company, which is an American company which formed for the first time humulin by the help of biotechnology. So insulin, ये ऐसा हार्मोन है which helps in decrease in the level of the glucose by taking this glucose and making what? आप बंगाली हो बाबा, ये रसगुल्ला है, आपने भार के अंदर रसगुल्ला रख दिया. What is this भार called? Glycogen. So what you are making? You are taking this glucose called rasgulla and putting it inside glycogen. So you are basically helping in formation of glycogen. So insulin helps in formation of glycogen. What is the process called? So it stimulates glycogenesis. By reducing what? Thereby reducing blood glucose level. So ये insulin का function है. What is the function of gamma cells? Gamma cells helps in the secretion of a local hormone called gastrin. And delta cell secretes what? Delta cell secretes somatostatin. And what is the function of somatostatin? It helps in the regulation of alpha and beta cells. It helps in the regulation of insulin and glucagon. ताकि body में blood glucose level maintained रहे. Clear? That is overall idea about pancreas. So there are special type of cells called beta cells of islets of Langerhans. Sorry, islets of Langerhans. Fine. Let us get into what NCERT has got to say. आपके बुक में दो सेल्स के बारे में बात किया गया है, that is alpha and beta cells. Alpha and beta cells. Pancreas. So when we talk about pancreas, pancreas is a composite gland. What is composite gland? Heterocrine gland. Is a heterocrine gland. Pancreas is a heterocrine gland which acts as both exocrine as well as endocrine. Acts as both exocrine as well as endocrine gland. The endocrine pancreas consists of islets of Langerhans. क्या नाम है? The endocrine part of the pancreas consists of islets of Langerhans. There are about 1 to 2 million islets of Langerhans. कितने सारे? 1 to 2 million islets of Langerhans in a normal human pancreas, representing only 1 to 2% of the pancreatic tissue. सिर्फ कितना है? 1 to 2%. It constitutes 1 to 2% of the pancreatic tissue. Fine? And those are what? Islets of Langerhans. The two main types of cells in the islets of Langerhans are called alpha cells and beta cells. One is alpha cell and the one is beta cell. Yeah, the clear? Very good. So in your book they have talked about only two of them. The alpha cell secretes a hormone called glucagon while the beta cell secretes insulin. Glucagon का function क्या है? What is the function of glucagon? Glucagon is a peptide hormone. कौन सा hormone है ये? Peptide. Remember in the very first class we have talked about that there are mainly three different ways, different parts, different types of hormones. One is amine hormone, and the one is peptide hormone, and the one is steroid hormone. Now, glucagon is a peptide hormone and plays an important role in maintaining the normal blood glucose level. Clear? Glucagon acts mainly on the liver cells. क्योंकि liver cells में कौन रहता है? Glycogen, called hepatocyte cells, and stimulates glycogenolysis. Very, very important. This term is very, very important. It helps in glycogenolysis, resulting in an increased blood sugar, that is hyperglycemia. It helps in what? Hyperglycememia. In addition, this hormone stimulates the process of gluconeogenesis, which also contributes to hyperglycemia. What is gluconeogenesis? Formation. Genesis is formation of glucose from non-carbohydrate source. New मतलब new है. Okay. Glucagon reduces the cellular glucose uptake. ये क्या करता है ग्लूकागॉन? हाउ इट वर्क्स? कैसे ये इंक्रीज करता है ग्लूकोज लेवल? बॉडी में ग्लूकोज का अपटेक इनहिबिट कर देता है. इट रिड्यूसेस द सेलुलर ग्लूकोज अपटेक एंड यूटिलाइजेशन. तो क्या होगा बॉडी में, ब्लड में क्या हो जाएगा? द ग्लूकोज लेवल इज गोइंग टू गो हाई. ग्लूकागॉन इज एन हाइपरग्लाइसेमिक हार्मोन. So name the hyperglycemic hormone. You are going to answer it as glucagon is a hyperglycemic because it increases the blood sugar level. Insulin is a peptide hormone. Insulin is also a peptide hormone which plays a major role in the regulation of glucose homeostasis. Insulin acts mainly on hepatocytes and adipocytes. What is adipocyte cells? Fat cells. Cells of adipose tissues. And enhances cellular glucose uptake. Opposite function देखो. वहाँ पे क्या होता है glucagon? It reduces the cellular uptake. Glucose uptake. But here it enhances cellular glucose uptake. तो अगर glucose uptake बढ़ जाएगा, what is going to happen to the glucose level in the blood? It's going to decrease. So insulin decreases the glucose level. As a result, there is a rapid movement of glucose from blood to the hepatocytes. And उल्टा हो गया ना? Blood से कहाँ पे जाना start कर देगा? And from what? Glycogen. And from what? Glycogen. And that's why there will be decreased level of blood glucose level, which we call it as hypoglycemia. Clear? Insulin also stimulates conversion of glucose to glycogen, that is glycogenesis, in the target cells. Insulin and glucagon have opposite function, antagonistic functions. So this is antagonistic effect. The glucose homeostasis in the blood is thus maintained jointly by two insulin and glucagons. Prolonged hyperglycemia leads to complex disorder called diabetes mellitus. क्या होगा? Prolonged hyperglycemia. What is hyperglycemia? High level of glucose level inside blood. If it remains prolonged, we call the term as diabetes mellitus, which is associated with loss of glucose through urine. So hypoglycemia mein, what is going to happen? Diabetes mellitus, hyperglycemia. What is going to happen? Loss of glucose through urine and formation of harmful compounds known as ketone bodies. Tell me, what are ketone bodies? Ketone bodies are produced by the beta oxidation of fatty acid. What are the examples of ketone bodies? The examples of ketone bodies are beta hydroxybutyric acid. Beta hydroxybutyric acid. Butyric acid is one of the ketone body. And then it also helps, this one, acetone is also a ketone body. Acetoacetic acid is also an example of ketone body. So there are three examples of ketone bodies. Diabetic patients are successfully treated with insulin therapy. क्या होगा उनमें? Insulin therapy करना पड़ेगा. Aldosterone hormone is not involved in sugar metabolism, but insulin, glucagon and cortisone are involved in sugar metabolism. कौन-कौन है? Insulin है, glucagon, दोनों from pancreas, cortisol and cortisol, they are also helping carbohydrate metabolism. Remember that? They are glucocorticoids, secreted from adrenal cortex. Which part? Glucocorticoids? Tell me, three layers. Fasciculata. So it's secreted from fasciculata. Clear? यहाँ पे देखो, pancreas exocrine part कितना परसेंट है? 98 to 99% are exocrine part. Endocrine part only constitutes 1 to 2%. Very important for Neet. And then islets and Langerhans are present in endocrine glands, endocrine part, that constitutes only 1 to 2%. And they have got alpha cells and beta cells. Alpha cells का काम क्या है? Glucagon. It secretes glucagon. Acts on hepatocytes. Beta cells, they secrete insulin. They break down. They break down hepatocytes and adipocytes and make what? Hypoglycemia. And glucagon helps in hyperglycemia. That's all about pancreas. Any issues about pancreas? Come on. Now what is there over here? Now what is written on the board? Testis. Tell me, what is common between pancreas and testis? One single point.
Both are heterocrine.
Both are heterocrine. Very good. So testis is also a heterocrine gland. And testis performs dual functions as a primary sex organ as well as endocrine gland. Testis is a primary sex organ. Now Varun is going to tell me why testis is called as a primary sex organ. Because the main gamete or sperm is produced inside testis. The main gamete or sperm is produced inside testis. But they also act as endocrine gland. Testis is composed of seminiferous tubules and stromal or interstitial tissues. I think we have, let me talk about testis. A little bit of information about testis. If this is testis, they have got testicular compartments. We are not going to get into the details of it. And they have got seminiferous tubules. Let's consider these are seminiferous tubules. Okay. Now can you see some gap between two seminiferous tubules? Yeah. This is a gap. This gap contains specialized cells, and these cells are called interstitial cells of Leydig. We call it interstitial cells of Leydig. All Leydig cells. Now these interstitial cells of Leydig are acted upon by ICSH from the anterior pituitary gland. What is the full form of ICSH? Interstitial cell stimulating hormone, secreted from the anterior part of the pituitary gland. They are trophic hormones or local hormones? Trophic hormones. And they are going to act upon interstitial cells of ladies because they do have the receptors of ICSH. Now, the moment they are going to get secreted over here, it's going to secrete a type of androgen. Tell me the name of the androgen. Testosterone. Testosterone. So, interstitial cells of ladies which are present in between the two seminiferous tubules, they help in the secretion of what? Testosterone. Now, consider if we cut this section, of the two seminiferous tubules, it is going to look like this. It's going to look like this. Fine. And there are two seminiferous tubules, and in between, kya hai yahan pe? In between they have got specialized cells. Come on, what are the cells called? Just now you said these are interstitial cells of Leydig. So they are Leydig cells. And ye kaun hai? Seminiferous tubules. Seminiferous tubules are lined by cuboidal epithelium. They are lined by cuboidal epithelium, and in between some of the cells are triangular cells. Tell me these triangular cells called as? No. So these are cuboidal cells. So the seminiferous tubule is lined by cuboidal epithelium mainly. So they are lined by cuboidal epithelium mainly. But this cell is called, and this cell, what happens with this cell is the sperm which is being produced inside the seminiferous tubules, the head of the sperm remains embedded inside these cells. So these triangular cells are called Sertoli cells, also called as subtentacular cells. And they are also called as nurse cells. Why they are called nurse cells? Because they help in providing nourishment to the growing sperm. They help in providing nourishment to the growing sperm. Is this clear? So sperm head remains embedded inside the Sertoli cells. So when the sperm, they come out of the Sertoli cells, the process of this release of sperms from the Sertoli cells is called as permeation. It's called? So that inside the seminiferous tubules that the sperm formation takes place by the process of spermatogenesis, and that is why testis is called as a primary sex organ. Bolo samajh mein aaya kya? Yes? Any issues with this? Chalo, let's get into what NCERT has got to say about testis. Okay. Yes. The Leydig cells or interstitial cells which are present in the intertubular spaces produce a group of hormones called androgens or testosterone. Male hormones known as androgens are secreted by the Leydig cells by the stimulation of LH from the anterior pituitary gland, and also ICSH, interstitial cells stimulating hormone. The main male hormone or androgen is testosterone. Testosterone is responsible for the puberty in male. So testosterone helps in the development of secondary sexual characteristics in males. And what are the secondary sexual characteristics in males? Basically, a wide shoulder, broad shoulder and narrow waist. Then formation of muscular growth, appearance of hairs on face, that is mustache, beards, hairs on the axilla and in the pubic region. Then what kind of voice? Low pitch or high pitched? Low pitched voice. Aggressive or emotional well-being? Aggressive nature. Fine. So these are the most important secondary sexual characteristics which is produced by testosterone in males, which creates maleness in a male. क्या कहते हैं इसको? Maleness in a male. Testosterone is responsible for the puberty in males. Androgens regulates the development of maturation and functions of the male accessory sex organs like, क्या क्या नाम है? Accessory sex organs, epididymis, vas deferens, sexual vesicles, prostate gland, urethra. These hormones stimulate muscular growth of facial and axillary hair, aggressiveness, low pitch of voice. Come on, we have just what we have said. Androgens plays a major stimulated role in the process of spermatogenesis. देखा? So testosterone helps in spermatogenesis, very, very important. Androgens acts on the central neural system and influence the male sexual behavior, that is libido. These hormones produce anabolic, that is synthetic effects on protein and carbohydrate metabolism. So they help in the protein and carbohydrate metabolism also. It's very, very important. Fine. So ovary, do we have time right now? So basically ovary and the next part, that is hormonal regulation. 17. Okay, hormonal regulation. So what is there? The next part is hormonal regulation. So ovary and the hormones of heart. Next day we are going to start, and that is we are going to complete this. When we complete this, the whole about the topic from ovary onwards in the next very class. यहाँ तक clear है? Yes. Any issues with this? That's all for today. Okay, so next day we are going to complete this topic, the whole of the chapter we are going to complete it. Any doubt?
No, sir.
Fine. That's all written. That's all for today. That's all for today.